Alright, picture this, you're standing on a bustling street corner in 18th century London, or maybe a chaotic trading floor in 1920s New York. The air is thick with the shouts of merchants, the clatter of goods being moved, and the frantic scribbling of figures on paper. Now, someone yells out, "Get a jobber!" Who are they calling for? What exactly is a jobber? That's the question we're diving into today. Because, let's be honest, the word jobber sounds a bit like something out of a Dickens novel, doesn't it? It evokes images of dusty ledgers, backroom deals, and a world of commerce that feels both familiar and utterly foreign. But the truth is, the jobber played a pivotal role in the evolution of markets, a role that, while often overlooked, shaped the way we buy and sell today. So, let's peel back the layers and uncover the fascinating story of the jobber. To understand the jobber, we need to understand the context in which they operated. Before the rise of sophisticated electronic trading systems, before the internet, before even the widespread use of telephones, markets were physical places. Think of the London Stock Exchange, the New York Stock Exchange, or the commodity exchanges that sprung up in major trading cities. These were hubs of intense activity, where buyers and sellers converged to negotiate deals. But here's the thing. Directly matching every buyer with every seller was incredibly inefficient. Imagine trying to find someone who wants to buy the exact number of shares you want to sell, at the exact price you're willing to accept, in a room full of hundreds of people. It would be chaotic, time-consuming, and prone to errors. That's where the jobber came in. The jobber was essentially a market intermediary, a specialist who facilitated trades by acting as a principal. They bought and sold securities or commodities for their own account, rather than acting as an agent for clients. Think of them as market makers. They stood ready to buy when there were sellers and sell when there were buyers, providing liquidity to the market. They made their profit by buying at a slightly lower price, the bid, and selling at a slightly higher price, the ask, capturing the difference, known as the spread. Now, it's crucial to understand the distinction between a jobber and a broker. A broker acts as an agent, matching buyers and sellers and earning a commission for their services. A jobber, on the other hand, takes on the risk of holding inventory, buying and selling for their own profit. The jobber's role was particularly vital in the early days of stock exchanges and commodity markets, when information was scarce and trading was conducted through face-to-face negotiations. They possessed specialized knowledge of the market, knew the players, and had a keen sense of price fluctuations. In the London Stock Exchange, for example, jobbers were a fixture for centuries. They were organized into specialized firms, each focusing on specific sectors or securities. They operated on the trading floor, shouting out bids and offers, and maintaining a constant flow of transactions. Their presence ensured that there was always someone willing to buy or sell, even when market conditions were volatile. This liquidity was essential for the smooth functioning of the market. However, the jobber's role wasn't without its criticisms. Because they traded for their own account, there was always the potential for conflicts of interest. Critics argued that jobbers could manipulate prices or take advantage of their privileged access to information. Furthermore, the jobber's system was often opaque. Prices were not always publicly displayed, and negotiations were conducted in a complex, often confusing manner. This lack of transparency could lead to unfair practices and a lack of trust in the market. As markets evolved, the jobber's role began to change. The introduction of ticker tapes and other forms of electronic communication made it easier to disseminate price information and connect buyers and sellers directly. The rise of institutional investors, such as pension funds and mutual funds, also transformed the market. These large investors often preferred to trade directly with each other, bypassing the need for intermediaries. In the United States, the role of the jobber was gradually replaced by the specialist system. Specialists, like jobbers, were market makers, but they were subject to stricter regulations and had a greater responsibility to maintain fair and orderly markets. In the UK, the Big Bang of 1986 marked a watershed moment. The deregulation of the London Stock Exchange led to the abolition of the distinction between jobbers and brokers, paving the way for integrated securities firms that combined both functions. The rise of electronic trading platforms further accelerated the decline of the traditional jobber. With automated trading systems, orders could be matched instantly, and prices could be displayed in real time. This eliminated the need for human intermediaries to physically stand in the market and facilitate trades. Today, the term jobber is largely relegated to historical accounts. However, the function that jobbers performed, providing liquidity and facilitating trades, remains essential. Modern market makers, algorithmic trading firms, and electronic trading platforms have taken on this role, albeit in a vastly different form. The jobber story is a reminder that markets are constantly evolving. They adapt to changing technologies, economic conditions, and regulatory environments. While the jobber may have disappeared from the trading floor, their legacy lives on in the modern market infrastructure. We can see echoes of the jobber's role in the algorithms that power high-frequency trading, in the market makers that provide liquidity on electronic platforms, and in the specialists who still oversee trading in certain securities. The jobber was a product of a specific time and place, a vital cog in the machinery of commerce. But their story is also a testament to the enduring human drive to connect buyers and sellers, to facilitate trade, and to create efficient markets. The transition from the jobber system to modern electronic trading has brought about significant changes. It has increased transparency, reduced transaction costs, and made markets more accessible to a wider range of participants. However, it has also introduced new challenges, such as the potential for algorithmic trading to destabilize markets and the risk of cyber attacks on critical market infrastructure. As we move forward, it's important to remember the lessons of the past. The jobber's story reminds us that markets are not static entities, but rather dynamic systems that are constantly evolving. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.